But do I need to be in front of that? Have you got a laser pointer by any chance?
Laser pointer. And they're not going to see you anyway.
Oh, so you're going to stand in front of the camera then? You can see the presentation.
Okay, here we go.
So Alistair and I, we walked up to the gate, and the agent was unable to see us on that day, but that's the only day we could both go together. So he said, well, go to the gate, follow the signs, and just climb over the fence. We thought, oh, that's easy enough. So I got there before Alistair, and he said, well, just climb over and I'll come and join you on the land. Well, as I tried to climb over the fence, the whole post went over. So I thought I'll just wait for Alistair to get there. So Alistair, fortunately, he's a man with many talents. So he didn't believe me that the gate was going to fall over. So he went to his car, got the clippers, and we clipped the wire and wound it around the tree, and we just walked in beside and left the fallen down fence because you couldn't climb over it. So as we walked in, we were welcomed by a massive, great hole, which was a wombat's hole. We thought, well, that's a good sign. And we walked into the middle of the property. So if this level here, the whole property is encased or surrounded by these beautiful hills the whole way around. It just felt like I was in the middle of a dome. It was just beautiful. And you can see it's quite dry, as it has been. So we walked into the gully to begin with because we heard the water. And I was happy that there was water there. And Alistair wasn't happy to hear the water. He wanted to see the water. So there we go, traipsing down this flipping thing. And there was no water, but we could still hear it. So we went up a little bit more, and there, the next door farmer, because that's separation, he had blocked up the pipe, and all the water from the creek was going into his massive big tanks. So you could hear the water, but the gully wasn't running. So when I got back immediately and phoned the agent, and I said, what's going on with the water in the creek? Oh, he said, oh, I don't know about that. I said, well, we want to know about that. So anyway, he hasn't got back to me on that yet. But we walked.
How many acres?
44. And they're asking 900,000. And there's nothing on it.
No water.
Oh, plenty of water. Plenty. Because that's not, we've got a spring. That is just a divider between the properties. So you'll see there's a marker there, and you'll see other markers. That's the extremities. So we've got a beautiful forest on the one side, which is within the markers, and a beautiful forest on the other side. So did you put some other pictures there?
Yep.
Are they national parks?
Yeah, it goes into National Park. Yeah. And so we walked in this gate here through to the middle where the creek was. So from this point here, I did a 45-degree circle. So we've got this beautiful natural forest. These 4 areas here, 1, 2, 3, 4, are beautiful flat areas. This is lowest to the floodplain. So the soil here is quite black, which would be beautiful for vegetables and stuff like that. But Alistair, he talks to the mountains. I talk to the trees, but he talks to the mountains. So we walked across the floodplain here, which is where this natural spring is, or here. That was right in the middle of this floodplain coming down here. And it was lush, lush, lush. But you can see how, well, this is an older picture. But it was dry here, and in that creek, it was absolutely lush green. So there's plenty of water even at the driest of seasons, which is a really good thing.
Where was the creek running in this picture?
Here.
Oh, down that side.
This border here, this is where the creek, where we heard the water, but there was no water. The trees, there's a row of lemon trees Orange and citrus, lemon and oranges, just about here. In fact, that's part of them, but there's about 5. And that shows me how neglected the property is, because healthy citrus doesn't look like that. I mean, I say neglected, 10 years, 15 years of neglect from a growing point of view.
Any apples?
No, just citrus. The trees along this border here on the entrance, which was natural, and a couple of them I couldn't identify, were very healthy. They just were beautiful, and they vibrated at a really good level and so on. When Alistair was on the other side here, looking up to this mountain here, he said, this mountain is extremely sad. So we meditated for quite a long time. I was in the middle of the creek and he was up on the edge there. And the mountain asked us if we would please build an altar and love the mountain again. It hasn't been loved. Vegetables. An eagle, it came out of nowhere, it circled around us and flew off into the trees. And I didn't have time to get the cat. I wanted to take a picture, but it was beautiful. So it was a lovely sight. And when we were walking this way, a little foxy came out of the woods and then didn't like us all that much. I think he was a bit frightened and he went back in the woods. So there's a lot of natural stuff going on there. Any yum? Oh, that's the wombat's home. This was all fresh. This is all fresh stuff out here. So he's not a small wombat. So this is the only, the remnants.
What species is that?
So there was a whole lot of, this is just one of the bases. There were a couple of them and a lot of wood. So it was obviously a wooden house on it. So that's the only remnants of dwelling anywhere on the property that we could see. That was just below where the house was. So whether that was their cooking area, who knows?
This looks pretty recent, no?
Yeah, yeah.
So some people must come.
Must be. So these, you see what I mean about these poor, beautiful trees. And the fruit is delicious. We asked the trees if they would mind sharing, and they shared. So you can see how lush and green this is down in this creek. The spring. That's all the green in the spring, amongst the dryness. That's looking over to the far mountain this end.
Yeah, so this is pretty flat, like it's.
It is. It drops down, and even though this is a floodplain, there's very little evidence of erosion at all. Very little, and this sort of tapers up into the mountain. That's where the foxy came out of.
So we can't see any house from there. There's no building.
Nothing.
And in Wyong, is that right?
It's on Wyong Creek. Wyong Creek is sort of right there. This is probably a little creek from Wyong Creek, but it's in the what's that valley called? Yarramalong Valley. It's in the Yarramalong Valley. Now, about on the same road that we're on, but about 10 properties up 2 weeks ago, 25 acres sold for 1 million. So the agent says 900 is on track. So we said, well, for us, it's not. We told them that.
So I wonder if Dora Francis wants to happen.
I don't know.
That's like Barbari, Dora.
Yeah, but Wyong's near, yeah. I'm sure gonna.
So that's also just a little bit further up from where Alistair is standing. He thought the spring was here. I think it was further down. We couldn't actually find source of the
With
spring.
dowser, we could easily.
I had my dowsing sticks with me.
Oh, yeah?
My rods, yeah, we did. We did the rods all over, and at all pointed the energy was really clear. It was great.
That's it.
That's it.
There's no more picture. Okay. I can actually show a quick video of.
Do you need the microphone? One?
No, I think not. She's brilliant. People talking. Can you guys see Facebook on your screen? Thumbs up? Yeah. All right. Yeah, danger 5G. Yeah. Another reason why we need to get away from big cities, because the 5G is going to mess up with a lot of like people brainwave.
What is
5G is
The next level of 4G.
It's like microwave.
Yeah, the microwave your brain. Yeah, 4G was bad, but 5G is going to be really naughty.
No, I want that.
You're going to cook our brains. Sorry, can you use Mount Line? Sorry.
oh, well done. So you got it that way, because I tried to send it to Roman and I couldn't send it. So we stood in the middle of the property just so you could get an idea of what it looked like. And it fit, you know, standing in the middle there, it felt like we were being really looked after. It was a really warm feeling in the middle there. So when we,
It works well if you want. Doesn't stop it easy.
so when we got off the property, Alistair goes to the back of the car. He says, "Oh, we must do a deck." So he's scratching around and he finds his car.
So here we are.
Someone's here. To me, it's here. Lights.
Alistair and I are standing
More or less in the middle of the property.
where we think perhaps there might have been a dwelling.
But they built something here.
Yeah, so that's a very nice long flat.
But this spot we're looking at right now is where I think would be ideal to build our first house up there on that hillside.
On the slope,
Yep.
ever so slight slope, not big slope. Now we're going towards the native forest area, which is within the borders. And as you see, the white board is
Right, just because you're here, we're just going to put it again. If it works.
So when he drew the cards, it was quite interesting. He drew a full deck. I mean, I can't read the cards how he did, but he said it was really interesting. The two of the cards that he drew was abundance and success, but there's a lot on the other side that we have to overcome. So there was the balance of what we had to go through and overcome to get the abundance and success. So it's not going to be just a smooth path. That was quite clear.
Damn it. It's going to be easy and simple.
But
We go on though.
Alright, so Samir and Susie just arrived, so just while we're going to show the video again of the property where Margie and Alistair have been.
What's the name of that?
Yarramalong. Oh, I know Yarramalong.
it's in the Yarramalong Valley, on the Wyong Creek.
That's nice, expensive little area. Yarramalong.
It's 44 acres, and they're asking 900,000 with nothing on it,
Yeah.
but water.
so here we are.
That's you. That are.
What's going on with
Okay.
that?
So, anyway,
Let's
so that was.
Anyway,
So there it's going around. So you can just see how it's just surrounded by beautiful forests all around. And on the border, where the
There
let's go
might
back.
have been a dwelling.
Yeah, they built something here, but this spot we're looking at right now is where I think would be ideal to build our first house up there on that hillside.
On the slope,
Yep.
ever so slight slope, not big slope. Now we're going towards the native forest area, which is within the borders. And as you see the white board in the far distance, that's the furthest.
Fox up there too.
Where?
so what is this white stuff? What is it?
That's the actual border between the land and the natural forest. So there's no neighbors. That's natural forest.
Oh, natural park. Wow.
Yeah.
Just rushing into. Anyway, he'll be on film. On that little road up there, there's a fox
Okay.
up there.
So now we're coming
They're
back.
not
There's
raising rabbits here.
the white.
So you can see.
So that's it.
Took it to the borders.
So that's it.
So they have.
So we've got border, and that's the property. How
And all
gorgeous
this
is
could
that?
be ours.
Aha.
Well, thank you for going.
So, well, we spent the whole day the previous weekend just looking and searching until we found that one. A lot of them were just totally unsuitable. Yeah. But that one seemed closest to meeting our requirements and on the right some chronic plants.
Cool. Anyone would like to share something like an update since last week, last month? Would it be possible to have a quick introduction of Caroline and maybe me and Richard, like for those of us who doesn't know who you are? Like Kelly is going to connect with us soon. So Caroline, do you want to say something? Just a second, and I'm going to unmute here. I'm going to mute myself. Here you go.
Hello, everybody. Sorry I couldn't be there in person tonight. Glad to hear everything that's going on and looking forward to the rest of the meeting. That property looks good.
Thank you. And we just see Kelly's coming. Hi, Kelly. Would you like to share something? We just finished the presentation of the land, so you missed the land presentation.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yep, perfect.
Hi, everybody. Who have we got on? Are you there? I can't. Roman, can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
Cool. Well, it's been a really awesome day for me today. We've done a little bit of restructuring in One Person, One Planet. Did you enlighten the community, Roman, about our the new changes?
No, I was waiting for you to do the introduction.
Okay, cool. All right, so we're doing a new structure of our corporate committee, and one of our directors can no longer direct One Person, One Planet. So this morning I asked Roman if he would love to be a co-director of One Person, One Planet with me and another gentleman by the name of Samio, and he accepted. So it's an absolute honour to actually have Roman on board and to have said yes. So yeah, I love you dearly, and you're the best.
I'm just not going to respond.
You know you can.
Yeah, like for me, it's an honor to be a part of this. Since I met you probably 4 years ago, you inspired me into getting into the sovereign realm, and I was really wanted to work with you and doing something. So when you offered this morning, I was like, yes, of course, yes.
You didn't even let me finish it. You've just gone, yes, whatever, yes.
Yeah, yes, whatever. Yeah, whatever you say, I'm happy with it. So the whole idea is that now that we have this amazing project, I would need your help to bring it first in Australia and then all over the world. Like for those who are not aware, like Kelly is going to receive an award in the next few weeks. Can you just tell us a little bit about it now? So people, like, I know that most of people are already impressed with you, but now they will understand even more why.
Okay, I was nominated for 3 different categories for International Woman of the Year for non-for-profit organisation for One Purse, One Planet. And last Monday, the finalist list came out, and I turned my nominations into finalists, and I got finalised for 3 of our categories. And I'm off to New York on the 11th of November to the International Stevie Awards to walk the red carpet for One Purse, One Planet. And I also am having a dress made that actually stands for our Logan and our slogan, which is equality for humanity. And so I'm not going to say too much more because it's absolutely an outstanding dress being made by an extraordinary woman. And yeah, I'm absolutely over the moon and ecstatic at where things are going, the youth program that's going into schools all the way around Queensland, the community projects, other things that I'm doing that will, come to fruition very shortly within the community, and and just bringing it all to life. So, it's amazing.
Can you explain what One Purse, One Planet is?
Okay. So One Purse, One Planet is a registered charity organisation that I created 5 years ago. And I created One Purse, One Planet to bring together community sustainable living structures to go into third world countries, so that I believe that every single person on the face of this planet shouldn't be in poverty, and that everyone should have clean water, food, shelter, and a bed to sleep in at night. So, and just, I was thinking about it today with some friends, that, ever since I was little, like I can remember back as far as probably 6 when I was at a restaurant and there was so much food left over. I'm just like, where's all this food going to go? We need to do something. Like, what are you just going to throw out all this food? And then they go, yeah, we're going to throw it out. I'm just like, that's just throw it. But you just, for me, it was really, I found it really hard, and it really upset me on so many levels. And it's always been such a soft part whenever it's spoken, that it just devastates me. So waste should never ever. There should never be waste. So yeah, it's a One Purse, One Planet created for sustainable living communities around the world. I also have subscribed to Philanthropies Australia, that has over hundreds and hundreds of funders that have money sitting in a bank account that we can tap into any day. We need some people on board to be able to research different grants, because you can have grants for non-for-profits, you can have grants for charity organisations, you can have grants for charity organisations with a DGR status. DGR status means deductible gift recipient, and if you have that, then anybody that's investing into that charity organisation can claim that back in their tax. But there are other strategies that can be used, that if you actually do donate, and you are a business, that you can actually market and promote them. They can actually become a sponsor, and then that donation then turns into a sponsorship, and then they can actually claim part of that sponsorship funds back in their tax return also. So we're doing what we can at the moment. I'm actually applying with our solicitor next week to get our DGR status after our school program that we've had over the school holidays, and seem to be working in communities, being part of different other organisations, being in schools, talking at parades, a whole heap of different stuff. So, yeah.
Great.
And our subtitle for One Person, One Planet as a charity organisation is Advanced Social Impact. So it's very broad, and it can come under so many different areas.
Fantastic. Wonderful.
Did I answer your question?
Yes, you did. Thank you.
It's my pleasure. What was your name?
Mignon.
Hi, Mignon. It's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Does anybody else have any questions?
Roman, you're muted.
So great work, thanks. I think everyone is very impressed here. I actually spoke this afternoon to Saf and Susie about spending a little bit of time looking for those grants. Can you tell us a little bit more about what is involved into this research, and how much can we expect to raise from raise or rise? Oh, raise. Oh, I didn't
Raise.
know.
We can raise.
I don't know.
We can raise and rise above. How's that sound? Okay.
Perfect.
Okay, so I've researched the platform when I first started to subscribe, and there's grants in as little as 5,000 to over 100 million by very, very high corporate people in very high corporate roles, lots of people with lots of money. There are descriptions, and there are, you know, T's and C's around different funders in where they actually want to put their money, but that's just a criteria. There's so much, it's not funny. We just need somebody to spend the time in going through them. I have a grant writer who's more than happy to start writing grants as soon as we find the right one. So I'm more than happy to sit with somebody during the day to go through a couple so that they know what they're looking for, so that they, you know, we don't go, you know, a couple of days and they're looking and go, oh, here's a really good one, and the criteria doesn't fit. So I know that I just can't. I'm just too busy to be looking for grants, but I'm more than happy to assist in the start, and somebody can take over that financier role. Over and out.
Cool. Susie, Saf, any question?
No, but we can Zoom and do a computer link up with the great.
Okay, so sometime this week I will probably join them so we can have like this Zoom session, the four of us.
Yeah.
And so you already have the account, everything is set up. We just need now to.
Yep. I'll just link you through a username and password, and you have instant access. And then I'll just show you how to get in there and search different different organisations that have the funds.
Great, thank you very much. I just have a question more about One Person, One Planet. So One Person, One Planet could be, or is going to be, the envelope that is going to purchase the land on the behalf of the community. Can you tell us a little bit more? Because we are lucky tonight to have a great man. His name is Hans. Hans? How do you spell it?
A-R-T.
A-R-Z, Art. A-R-T, like art, like artist. Oh, perfect.
Oh, yeah.
His name is Art. Can you imagine that? And yeah, and he's actually was working with the council for a few years as a town planner. So, like, do you have any question? Like, can you maybe have a little bit of talk about like how 1+1 Planet can actually bypass a little bit the rules and regulation of the council to assure that we're going to be efficient in the way we can set up this whole project?
Yep, okay, no dramas. So being a registered charity organisation and written in our constitution, it stipulates that we have GST concessions. We don't have to pay GST. We don't have to pay capital gains tax. There's other local council stuff that we don't have to pay, like and this is in Queensland, because I didn't look in other states, but I can't see it being too different, where we don't have to, if we're on a property, don't have to pay for garbage collection and water coming to the property and a whole heap of different other things. But I stand to be corrected in that space if it is different in New South Wales. With the purchase of a property to a registered charity organisation, it can benefit the seller, that they can actually then claim different aspects of the sale of the property back in, how they're set up in their business, or different ways that, you know, whether they're a trust or it's a family trust or whatever the case may be. But when we get the funds, it's not if we get the funds, it's definitely when we get the funds. The property will be brought in 1+1 Planet, and then it would be leased to the project name that the community chooses to, with a real contract for a 99-year lease, with the option of another 99-year lease. So 1+1 Planet will be the custodianship of the actual property that will be run by a project, that the people will choose what that particular name will be. Did I answer your question? Over and out.
Yeah, really good. And by the way, we actually have Banjo here. So like, if we have 100 years and another 100 years, like we already have the next generation here. He's like what, 6 months now?
Yeah, they don't
3
do
months. Yeah, it's 3 months
leases.
old now. We have a 3-month-old member of the community project. So he's gonna, and mine, like the second one is coming next month. So we're gonna have like the next team ready for the next 100 years.
Awesome.
Do you have any question? Do you want to?
Thanks a lot. Cheers. Oh, hi there. Yeah, I'm very pleased to have been invited along this evening. Yeah, I popped up from Narara, and we're involved in the Eco Village down there. We're members there. Yeah, I've got a town planning background in New South Wales. I presently work in the private sector, although I've worked in councils. So I'm aware of the planning rules, regulations around strategic planning, and also on the ground sort of DA planning, and what you can and can't do, and what you can and can't get away with, and all the legislation, et cetera, et cetera. So that's a whole another conversation. But you know, what you're talking about in terms of your sort of legal entities and the way you've created that, I'm not that expert in that area, but there are people at the village that are, and so that may be a useful conversation to have with some of our lawyers, if you need any assistance. You know, I was delighted to hear of the project, and we're happy to help in any way we can and learn from you too.
Awesome. Sounds fantastic.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks. Not really on the structure at the minute, but I'll look it up and research it after this. Sounds interesting. Thank you.
Caroline, Mignon, Richard, anyone here would like to ask a question to Kelly, because Kelly's just with us for another 10 minutes. Anyone would like to... Richard, are you still with us?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Do you have any question for Kelly? Have you met Kelly before?
No, I haven't met Kelly before.
So Richard is my good friend, working in the building industry and specialized in hemp, concrete and hemp production. And he's a full trained builder. So yeah, like, I don't know if we're going to need his help, but I'm joking, of course. Always interesting to have someone of his level of knowledge in the team. Yeah, like, any things to share about how One Person Planet as a business structure has to deal with the council and the building and the different material? Can you tell us a little bit about this?
Well, basically, as long as it's deemed an Australian standard material, you can use it. And if there's a new material like hemp or Dovey bags, council shies away because there's no technical information. So it's a bit harder to get those things approved. I'm not saying they won't, but you just have to do the legwork and get people who have got the technical information and the qualifications to prove it. So it doesn't matter what material, as long as it can get approved, class as a great material to be used in Australia.
Can I ask Richard a question?
Yeah, sure.
Richard, just have a question for you. It's Saf. I'm just wondering, something like this, I know local councils always have rules on legislation over building materials, but is it something that can be approved federally so you don't have to go through individual councils to get approval? That's a good question. Yeah.
To be honest,
or Art?
Yeah, Richard.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, just to say, at Narara, we developed our own building standards, and we got exemption from basics, which is the normal standard of building. So it can be done if you sort of do your legwork, like you say, and there's a vast range of different building materials that people are planning to build with. So yeah, there's no impediment as far as I'm concerned.
it's always advantage if someone else is pioneered and gone ahead. So it can be used as a plateau to say, well, that village used it, so are we. So it's always a good thing someone's done the trailblazing to start off with. As long as all the technical information is there, and council's main, as Hart would know, council's main job is to push themselves away from any liabilities. So providing that the individual takes the liability, then council's quite happy with whatever you use, in my dealings with councils.
As a material that can be used in building, or doesn't that?
I think, sorry, I can't remember that.
Richard, because that way you don't have to go through local councils.
Yeah, hi Richard. Yeah, well, our natural building team at Narara would be really happy to speak to you about their experiences and how they got exemption from basics and the thinking behind all the different uses of materials that are going to happen at the village. So yeah, do get in touch with us and speak to some key people there.
What about the earth bag and in relationship to it? Just share your understanding of how.
Yeah, well, pretty much. I've heard of some people are planning on Earthship. I don't know if that includes earth bags or not. But pretty much every other type of building material I've heard of, but I'm not too familiar with earth bag. But again, I don't see how different is that from round earth, and in terms of sort of thermal mass and the like. Well, it doesn't sound like it is, talking to Raymond this evening. So I think in terms of materials, yeah, I mean, have a conversation with some people at the village and see what they found out. I'm sure there's some people that are considering earth bag, because pretty much every type materials been thought of, including hempcrete, which a lot of people are very keen on. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's got really great thermal properties, insulation properties. Yeah, it's like a miracle plant, really.
Richard, can you share with us a little bit of? Can you share with us a little bit of your knowledge with hemp? Some people doesn't know about hempcrete. Can you share a little bit of it?
Well, hempcrete is used from the husk of the hemp, which is the inside of the hemp, and it gets blended with a binder, which has been formulated for Australian conditions through the Australian Hemp Company. So with the binder and the hempcrete, what happens?
Can you explain what a binder is?
Oh, right. So the binder is like a powder. It's like the glue, and you add water, and then as it blends, it mixes, and it gets like a muesli-like, for a better word, a muesli-like substance, and then from that it creates the bind, which is the hempcrete. Now, the hempcrete goes into a form, so it pretty much flows any shape that the form is. It takes 4 weeks for it to harden before you can do anything else to it. While it's hardening, it's absorbing CO2 from the atmosphere, and that's what gives it the thermomass and the density. The longer it's there, the more CO2 it takes from the environment. It's really good for anyone that wants to build with it, but it's not a load-bearing. It's a non-load-bearing material, so you still need a frame of some sort to support your roof.
Could it be used as a coating?
It's what you got to use is what's called a natural render, which allows it to breathe. Because hemp breathes, there's no mold, and because we're using lime in the mix, that it protects the timbers from termites, because termites don't like lime. So the natural render, so it looks like a rendered house in completion.
Thank you. Sorry, Ray, go for it.
It's like building a normal house, except having any bricks or gyprock on the inside. You actually have the rendered wall, which is the concrete wall. I'm actually in a process of pricing a building in Narara, which is going to be using hemp external walls. I'm in the process for some architect for the Narara village.
What's the name of the architect?
The name of the architect is Andy from Envirotech.
Yeah, Art knows him. Yeah.
Does Han know him?
With regards to the license we have, Richard, for growing hemp, is that something that you've done, or for the production of hemp?
I've looked into it.
Production of hemp. Do you have a license, and is something
anyone can get a license to grow hemp, but the government's put in a lot of regulations to growing hemp. Anyone who does not have a criminal record can apply to grow hemp.
Could you repeat that?
Anyone who doesn't have a criminal record can apply to get a license to grow hemp, though the regulation is quite high. You're not allowed to have more than 0.05 THC in your hemp, and you need to be quite secluded by putting a 10-metre high fence around your hemp. I reckon that could be fought in the councils because that seems ridiculous. But yeah, anyone can really grow. Anyone can get a license to grow hemp.
Could we make a sauna in hemp or cannabis?
Not sure.
I was joking. I was joking. Yeah.
It's no THC, so you can't get high.
Yeah, so we can try a CBD sauna. That'd be fun.
Is there any restrictions?
Yeah.
Richard, is there any restrictions on what you do once you get your license to grow hemp? If you wanted to manufacture clothing or hempcrete, do you have to specify that? Do you know?
I don't know. I'm not sure on that legality. But I'm sure that
I'm not sure. I'm not 100% sure, but I think Alistair's brother is actually enrolled into a business where he was looking for hemp producer in Australia to transform them into products. So like he already have a connection into one of the biggest, if I remember well, sourcer of hemp. So we maybe wouldn't even have to transform it. Anyway, like for me, the hemp was just an option as something to grow on the site and a way to trade and to because like I had this idea of creating a business of hemp plastic, so we can do this polymer earth bag, because the earth bag system is based on plastic, and I never heard. Maybe it's there, but I never heard about a hemp polymer earth bag system, because I think that would be a next level. Like we can actually, in the idea of duplicating the community in the future, we could actually provide a hemp bag system so people can build their house with this hemp bag polymer, and we know that hemp is a very strong material, which is exactly what you need for this type of earth bag. What do you think?
pretty much anything you can make out of plastic, you can make out of hemp, because plastic is used with the oils. So you can use the oils from the hemp to build anything that you can build with plastics. You obviously need extrusion machines or forms to make out whatever you need to do. It's just a bit of research and a bit of trial and error. Once you've got the formula right, you can create anything. You can already get hemp, what they call hemp steel. You can mold it into all different types of shapes. You can make cups and plates. You can make shoes. So it's already there. It's just a matter of spending time and effort to do what you like out of it.
Industry flourishing at the moment.
Can you repeat?
Where is this industry flourishing at the moment? If we want to look at it or learn from
There's a hemp mill in the Hunter Valley, and up in Nimbin there's people who are starting to work with the hemp steel. If you ever go to the hemp expos, they're always there pushing their wares. It's a great source of information and contacts. Well, most of it you can find on Google.
All right, thank you very much. Anyone have any other question? Because I think it's enough for today. Any other question about different topics? Kelly dropped off and she doesn't have any more battery, so she apologized and sent her love. Yeah, Mignon, do you like to share something?
No, hello everyone. I'm Mignon, for those I haven't met. I live down in Wollongong, and I'm a festival and event producer and a sacred musician and activist, and very happy to be part of this.
Cool. Richard live in Wollongong as well.
Oh, cool. Whereabout do you live, Richard?
A suburb called Lake Heights.
Oh, yeah. I'm in Corrimal.
No,
I'm north.
the north. You're the north.
Yes. I'm a northerner.
Cool. So just before you go, I'd like to share something on the screen. It's about, so just to summarize a little bit tonight, we have this new opportunity using grants specifically oriented around community. And as Kelly mentioned it before, we have this potential possibility to raise millions of dollars, which would be amazing. Another way to, meanwhile, starting to get access to abundance is through this pulse system. So I just wanted to share with you where we are now. So this is my account, which is above the community. And so far, so I invested $100 when Bitcoin was still a bit low. I think now, based on the actual price of Bitcoin, so this is the money generated so far in 2 weeks, I believe, 2 weeks and a half. So 0.036 Bitcoin. And the 0.036 Bitcoin today worth $260. So in 2.5 weeks, I got so I invested $100 and I got $260 back by enrolling, I believe, so this is all the members that you can see. So I created the Aruma community 1, 2, and 3. So 1, 3, and 2, where is it? Here we go. And I enrolled so a few people, as you can see. So you have Seth in Aruma Community 3. Then Samuel is Samir. Then Nicolas Perrin, who just enrolled Melanie, which is here with us. So she's a part of the team now. Then in Aruma Community 1, we have Didier and Paul. We have Alistair, who didn't enroll anyone. Margie already enrolled 3 people. Congratulations, Margie. So we have Caroline, Margaret, and Minion, who are below Margie. And then Kelly hasn't enrolled anyone, Nick, and the Damanhur. I created an account for the Damanhur community in Australia. But basically, based on that, I received $250 so far, which is more than what I invested. If everyone are doing the same today, if everyone are doing the same, we could have this ability to generate quite a lot of money. So I just would like to share, for those who are not really familiar yet with how this concept works. So you need to log out of the system, log off, and go into the calculator here. Okay, and with the calculator, you have to set up Australian dollars, and you can see potentially the amount of money you can generate through the system. Oh, damn it, is it going down? Yeah, here we go. Yeah. All right, so if I put level 3, which is where we are today. So the level 3 involved 23 people. And so with the 27 people plus the 9 people, we end up with, in average, $63 a day and $400 a week. $2,000 a month and $23,000 a year. If the community project could enroll much more people, if we could reach, I don't know, level 5, for example, and bring about 363 people, the community could generate about $141,000, and every people in between will get paid their fair amount of money as well. So this is so far, until we get our grants, this is a system that can provide a tremendous amount of money to a lot of people, not just us, everyone in between. And this has the second big advantage of promoting Bitcoin as an alternative to the currency that we are all using. It's not very complicated. Like Margie is 65 years old and she found 3 people in 2 weeks. So like, I know it's very easy to find excuses about how like it's hard to do something, but in the meantime, when you really want it and if you're really motivated, like $100, $120, now it's actually $150, because the more we wait, the more the value of the Bitcoin is increasing. So therefore, the bigger the investment is. But the whole idea is that you're going to get your money back pretty quickly. So, and yeah, like this system is the only one that I know that can provide such a high level of return so quickly, knowing that Bitcoin is growing systematically. So it's a way to produce Bitcoin by introducing more and more people to the concept of Bitcoin, which has this double positive consequences. So I strongly recommend everyone to get their head around trying to inspire people to shift into this new paradigm. Obviously, if we get access to more grants, we're not going to let the money just stand on the bank account. We're going to use this money to double it and triple it using Bitcoin in a very quick way. And in the meantime, Pulse is a great strategy to help to bring abundance for everyone. Okay, if anyone has any question, yeah, Margie?
Are we going to set a date today for new people coming in who don't fully understand the way it all works, so that it can be presented like you do it so professionally? Yeah. I think it's really important that everybody who's here tonight knows that that's when the next presentation and they can bring their 3 people and get them in really quickly. Each person must bring 3 to the next presentation. Simple.
So yeah, I'm happy to actually explain and answer all the different level of questions that people have, but the only thing that I cannot do is to advertise this project at your place. So as long as everyone is committed to find 3 people and just bring them to a presentation, I'm happy to actually show a kind of resume of how this community project is all about, and how by making a donation of $100, $150, you can actually contribute to the manifestation of this community. And on the top of that, you can have personal returns and for yourself or funding your own projects. So I'm really happy to do it as long as I have committed people who are willing to bring people, because that's what we need. Yep.
The personal return or the return for your own project. My question is, the personal return or the return for your own project, is that the same as this project, or does it vary as you go further down the levels? Like, I'm just not sure of how the abundance works entirely.
Okay, so when you introduce the person, so when you introduce the first level below you, you have to introduce 3 people, because you're going to get 33% on each donation, because this system is providing a donation every hour of 0.00001 Bitcoin per hour, which is about today 70 cents per hour. So you're going to get 33% of each people that you put below you at the first level, which means that after you put 3 people, you're going to get 100% of their donation, which means that their 3 donation will pay for your hourly donation, because every hour you have to make a donation of 70 cents. Okay, that's the whole deal. And the 70 cents will be given to everyone below you, above you. Then the people who come below you will actually give up to you, and you're going to get the first part of it. You're going to get 33% as a first level. Then the people above you will get, I think, 15% on them. Then the people above them will get 8%, and then 7, and then 6, and then 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and it goes up to infinity, because then it goes to 0.5, 0.2, 0.1, 0.01, and the more you get up, the smaller your percentage is, but you touch it to much more people. So by playing this game, anyone get access to an equal amount of abundance. Okay, the people, we said the people on the top get more only because they came before, they came earlier. Not because they came first, but because they came earlier. If 2 people have access to the same information and one person sign up straight away, the other one sign up 2 or 3 weeks later, like both of them will have exactly the same amount of chance to get access to the same abundance. The second one will just get it a little bit longer. Okay, so it's not, there's no separation between, it's just the time. When do you start? And the quicker you can put 3, 4, 5, because the first 3 people will only pay for your donation. That's it, which means that you will not have to make your donation yourself. The second level is what brings you money. Okay, and as I show, in 2 weeks' time, I already got $260 back on my $100 investment. So not only I didn't spend more money, but I actually generated twice what I invested, 2.5 what I invested. And this is just in 2 weeks and a half. Like if you give me another month or 2, then we will see this keep growing and keep growing and keep growing. And the only difference between me and you is basically 2 weeks and a half. Okay, if you could find the same 12, 15 people that I found, you will actually get exactly the same thing. So I'm happy to organize meetings where I can explain and answer questions, because it's a very complicated thing to understand Bitcoin, shifting Bitcoin, and see how the system that has been that has a very bad reputation in the fiat system, like Ponzi scheme, we call it a Ponzi scheme. Ponzi scheme is basically like the biggest Ponzi scheme, as I explained on the video, is the government tax. It's like a system where you constantly have to put more and more and more money to the people at the top of it, except that you never have anything in return. Like you have services, so-called services, that's the way they pay you back in a way. But we all know today that this system is broken, and that whatever money we give them, we're not going to get it back in services or happiness or whatever. So Ponzi scheme, we shouldn't even be afraid of this terminology. Like this is just, again, the programmation, programmed to be afraid of it. Ponzi scheme in the Bitcoin system is, again, another level, because Bitcoin is rising in value week after week, day after day, months after months. I actually had this conversation with Susie today, so she can realize that her investment of, can I say the numbers? She invested $7,000 in Bitcoin last week, and this morning, this $7,000 became $8,200. She actually made $1,200 profit in a week time. Yeah, same year. It's like, oh, you have all this money. The first 3, you will not have to make your donation every hour, but that's it. Then the 3 people that come below them, the 9 people, this is when you're going to make 14% on each of them. Okay, and then below them, the 27 people below them, that's when you're going to make 9% on them. And then you're going to make 8% on the below, and 7 next one, and 6 and 5 and 4 and 3 and 2 and so on. Okay, Richard, do you understand? Is it clear or?
It's clear. Bit of research yet to do.
Sorry, what?
A bit of research yet to do.
Yeah, there's a bit of research that has to be done, yes. Caroline, any question? Are you asleep? Oh, sorry, you had a nap.
I'm just stretching. I'm stretching on the lounge room floor. I did running today, which I haven't done for years, so I'm expecting to be really sore tomorrow, so I'm stretching while I'm listening. No, I'm all good.
Mignon, are you with us? Do you have any question about Pulse?
It's just it's all I'm trying to understand it, and yeah, I have a long way to go still.
So what do you not understand?
I just the whole thing just feels confusing, but it you know, I'm excited about it, but it also I'm trying to understand how it works really, because it's I'm a musician, I'm an artist. I don't have a mind that works with facts and figures very well, so I'm just trying to understand it.
All right, I'm just where I can. So, so when you come to this network, you have to feed the people who were there before you. So let's imagine that you're bringing a pizza. You bring a pizza, and a tiny portion of this pizza will be given to the network every hour. Okay, so every hour we give like a 10,000th of a pizza. So you have to cut your pizza in 10,000 small different pieces, and you're going to give these tiny little pieces to all the people who were there before you, no matter how many they are. The thing is that the person who was just before you, like Maggie is the one who introduced you to this system. She's going to get 1/3 of this tiny little piece of pizza. Okay. The person before her, which is me, I'm going to get a 14th, so just a little bit less than her, so half of her piece of this tiny little piece of pizza. And the person before me will get 8% of this tiny little piece of pizza, and so on. Okay, so by giving this pizza to the network, you actually allow me to continue, and you're funding my project by actually putting a pizza in this network. If you introduce more people to this network, they're going to do the same with you. They're going to feed you a tiny, tiny little portion of pizza. And this tiny little portion of pizza, the more people you're going to bring, the more you're going to get a big piece. And that's all about it. That's all that this is about. The more people you bring, the more people you receive from. And that's it. It's just pure redistribution of wealth. Okay. Of pizza. It's pure redistribution of pizza. You bring some pizza. It's just made in a way that while, like, if someone come, for example, and take the whole pizza and eat it, then therefore there's nothing else for the rest. So the way it has been set up is that we're just going to cut your pizza in 10,000 different pieces. Okay, yeah. Tiny, tiny, tiny little one. But instead of giving everything to one person, we just spread it over a lot of people. And even if it sounds nothing and not important, 10,000 of a pizza over 24 hours, this starts to make a lot. And the more you receive, the more every day you're starting to make more and more and more and more and more. So that's it. It's not complicated. Like the numbers,
Roman?
it's just a number game. The more people you introduce, the more you eat. Yes, Richard.
Yeah. Okay.
I think you understand what you're talking about, and I understand what you're talking about. But when we come to people who are having a bit of problem, a graft or a table of some sort would help. Visual aid would help to explain what you were just talking about. Just I thought I'll let you an insight.
Yeah, I'm actually working now on making an animation.
Okay.
Making an animation so people can actually see physically the piece of pizza, like, because this would be easier to visualize how someone will receive from 30 or 50 different people a tiny little piece of pizza. It's actually starting to make a lot of it. And at the end of the day, like 10,000 little piece times 27 people times 24 hours equal quite a lot of piece of pizza. And that's enough to actually survive in the first time. Until then, you're going to get more and more and more on the pizza.
Idea. And animation is a great idea.
Yeah, thanks. I'm going to add that on my table. Yeah. You know, I'm not that busy, so that's fine. Like, I can find a lot of time to do animation. No worries. I'll do it. Anything else, guys? Like, do you have any other inquiry? Like,
Sorry, I just have one more question in terms of
sure.
practicals. So anyone that joins has their own link.
Exactly. Everyone that joined have their own link. Yes.
Yep. So anyone that's bringing anyone in, they share their own personal link with them, and then they go under them directly.
Show you how.
Yes.
Okay. So I'm going to show how people are introduced to this and how members are going. So just get back to the website. I'm going to share the screen. Okay, so this is the classic page. So Pulsenet, if you click on connect, it will automatically send me around someone called Gilbert. I don't know why or how is he doing this, but this is the classic page. So there's no specific link. Now I'm going to log into my own account.
Oh, we can't see your password.
One day.
Do you have the same password for everything, or you remember all the different passwords?
I remember all the different ones.
Oh God.
So now I'm connected to my website, to my page. So when you go to details, so that's where you can change all the different elements of your personal information. So I didn't really put any personal information. I changed everything. The wallet is telling you how much have you made so far. So the value, you can withdraw up to 379 pulse, and one pulse is a 10,000th of a Bitcoin. So therefore, my value is 0.037.9 Bitcoin.
So you can withdraw anytime?
I can withdraw anytime. I just need to go here. I go below.
And that means you're out of it?
No, it just means that you get your money on your account. That's it. So you paste here, this is where you paste your address, your Bitcoin wallet address, and you withdraw whatever money is there. So I could do it now if I wanted to.
Whatever profit is there.
Whatever profit is there, as long as it's more than one pulse, which is 0.001 Bitcoin.
Your initial investment in
The original investment has been given to all the people above you, except if you find enough people to put below you. If you put enough people to put below before your money has been sent, then the money will stay there. I think you can still see it in the money that I put into the system. Yeah, you can still see that there's 0.059 Bitcoin in the balance, but my profit is actually 0.037. So I actually haven't used the totality of my donation. I gave 0.022 Bitcoin, and I already made 0.037 or 38 actually. Okay, so it means that my balance is 0.59. So 0.020. I don't know how much did I gave, and that's how I made. So my balance is 0.059. And you can withdraw the money, the bit money, the pulse money. This is yours. Like this 379, which is about $260. I can just put my address, the address of my blockchain web receive wallet, and I just click withdraw the money, and it will be sent to your cryptocurrency wallet. I have to show you. I have to show you how to do this. So no. You don't need to have. You need to have a Pulse account, and from the Pulse account, then you can withdraw directly into your crypto wallet. So Exodus or blockchain or whatever, you have them on your phone. You just need to take the receiving number, you put it there, and you withdraw the money.
Remember, it's coming in.
And it will come as a... So this 379 is called pulse, but a one pulse is 1/10 of a Bitcoin. So it's 0.00001 Bitcoin. So the value in Bitcoin is what you see here, 0.037 Bitcoin. That's what I gain in Bitcoin based on 0.022 investment, and I introduce maybe 9 or 10 people to this network. Okay, and this is what I made in just 2 weeks. In a month's time, it's going to double, triple, quadruple with the growth of Bitcoin and with the more and more people coming into my network. Okay, so that's how you withdraw the money. If you want to invite more people, then the third link is home. So this is where you see all your balance. And members is when you see all the people below you, and you can start to see that there's 18 people underneath and 8 are active. Okay, which means that a lot of people didn't introduce enough people below them. So they get into the welcome pool, as we can see here. So the Samir, for example, is in the welcome pool because he didn't introduce anyone below him. So he put the 0022 Bitcoin into the system, and this Bitcoin has been given to everyone above him. But as he didn't introduce people below him, then there's no more money. So he's going to what we call the welcome pool, which is the community paying for your donation. So the community is paying for you until you find the people to put below. And if after a month or 2 you don't find anyone, then your account will be cancelled because the community cannot pay for you forever. Okay, so the whole idea is that this system is based on introducing people to Bitcoin and funding this community project. And by doing this, you also get a return. But if you don't invite anyone, then nothing is happening.
So how long do they stay in the welcome pool?
Normally, I think it go up to 2 months. I think it can go up to 2 months, but I think it's not reasonable to expect the community to pay for someone for 2 months because it doesn't make sense. Like it's like. So I personally spoke, and I'm very in touch with the programmer which is behind, and it's a guy from Sunshine Coast, and I spoke to them. They are basically people who want to promote Bitcoin. They want to attract people to Bitcoin, and this is a great entrance point because it's just $100. It's like it's $100. You bring 3 people to it, and you can. Now it's actually gross because the value of Bitcoin has increased, but basically you can. It's not exactly right to say that it's actually 150 because it's 150 if you want to put 0.022 Bitcoin. But if you already come with 3 people to put below you, you can even come with even $10 if you want to. And you register the 3 people below you straight away. And if the 3 people find 3 people straight away, then that's it. Like people can just come with $10 if they want to. The whole system works like by introducing more and more and more and more people below them. The 0.022 has been put in place just to give enough time for the people to find the 3 people. So the first week is free. You have 1 week for free. This is paid by the community. Then you have your initial donation of 0.022. And this would take 9 days. Okay. If during the 9 days after that you haven't found anyone to put below you, then you go into the welcome pool, and this welcome pool goes up to, I believe, 2 months. And after these 2 months, then your account is stopped. But if you haven't done that, you haven't really helped anyone because you don't really get anything in return because the money is actually given to the people above you, not you. So you don't make any profit. So like there's no real interest to actually come into this network and not putting people below you, because in that case you basically lose your donation. It's a donation anyway to promote a project, but the whole idea is to actually bring more and more and more and more people as an opportunity for people to go into Bitcoin and an opportunity for yourself to make profit.
So once you put the 3 to put the 3 in,
yep.
And then you're bringing in more people and you give them your link, they will just place under your network under someone else.
So that's a good question. So when you bring more people, so you go into invite, okay, so detail, wallet, home, member, and invite. And in invite, you will have 2 links, direct invite a link or structured invite a link. So I personally ask That's my request to the programmer to create this second link here. Because initially there was just one link, and it was only this one. The structure inviter link actually allow you to create a matrix of 3 by 3 by 3 by 3 by 3 automatically. So you basically only have to share this link to all your network. Whoever is going to register following this link, so we can actually try now, like if I copy this link, if I copy and paste this link, so automatically this link will actually go below Samir. Why? Because Samir was one of the first who signed up, and the software has been put in place in a way that the first people who connect into BitPulse will automatically receive, will be the first one to pop up. And this is following my account. So all my members are actually already filled, except below Samir. So the first one who will be free will actually be automatically distributed below everyone. So you can see that Samir is here. So Nicolas Perrin was the first one. So that's why every time you're clicking on my link, you are actually seeing Nicolas Perrin coming. But now that you registered below Nicolas Perrin, now the next one link is Samir. So you can just take this link, share it with your friend, and they will automatically be positioned below you. Okay? Yeah, the one above actually would allow everyone to be registered at the first level. So you could have 5, 10, 20 people at the first level. And I believe that this is maybe better for you because you get 33% on each individuals, but you do not help to structure something, a community principle. And like individual doesn't really work well as community. If I help you by putting people below you, if Margie help Mignon by putting people below her, then we work as a community. So the structured link is the link to use. So now, even if Samir didn't find someone, if I find someone, automatically it will be positioned below Samir. And I hope that this will inspire him to bring people, because like that's how it works. It's a community. So then you will be taken out of the welcome pool. And but the whole idea is that each individual needs to do their fair job of bringing people. Just bringing people, that's it. Correct. So Lindy is already there, and
so if I sign up Yasmin next.
So you could put it below you and then get out of the welcome pool, because now you're in the welcome pool because you introduced Lindy, but Lindy didn't cover your whole thing because you needed to find 3 people.
So I do Yasmin and Matt, that'd be 3.
There would then be 3, but then you need to find already people to cover Lindy because Lindy already is in the welcome pool as well. Sure.
So how does the system monitor if someone hasn't actually attracted anyone and brought anyone in, and it's just been someone else's place of people under you? Is there a way that it tracks it if there's people that are just really not ever bringing anyone in?
Basically, if people doesn't bring anyone in, after a few months, they will just be deactivated. That's it. But if if someone else put people below them, then they will be automatically reactivated. And the thing is that those people will maybe not even know that they are making money every day. Like the money will be kept into the system until they come and they withdraw it. So like if you have a big network and if you want to help people who are shy or doesn't have much people, doesn't know much people, you can actually put them below you and put people below them. The only thing that you need to be careful is that you need to educate them on how they can withdraw the money, because it would be stupid to help someone to get access to abundance and they don't even know how to withdraw the money from the account. That's the only thing. If someone is completely not interested into that and you're still making a whole network below them, you're helping them, but then they will not even enjoy or appreciate what you do with them for them. So like that's why education is a fundamental aspect of this system. And I know that a lot of people come with the fear. It's like, oh, if I don't succeed, if I can't find people, if I can't convince them, blah, blah, blah. Like, fear is a very easy way to actually like say, oh, I'm incapable of doing it. That's a very easy excuse. If you don't look for excuse but look for solution, then I'm here to help people to educate. Because it's not about convincing anyone. It's about education. It's about understanding what Bitcoin is. And I understand how complicated it is because there's a lot of very brilliant people here tonight. And I know that most of them are still struggling to understand what Bitcoin is. Okay, so there's no shame about it. It's a new monetary system that is put in place, which is providing huge amount of returns to every participant. The only thing that blocks us is our own fear. Okay?
What are those next people's names? One is 0.44 ppm and one is 0.05 and one is 0.67 ppm.
I think the ppm mean pulse per minute or pulse per something. The ppm mean this, and the amount here actually mean the amount before they're going to go into the welcome pool. So this is the money that they are giving, like Paul, for example, has 0.05. So soon he's going to get into the welcome pool. Okay, except if he finds 3 people to put below him. If you found 3 people to put below him, then the 0.05 will stay like this and it will just remain active.
And this Margaret ready to activate. What's happening?
Where?
Well, Melanie, ready to act. That's me.
Yeah, Melanie just signed up yesterday, and she's still in her first week for free. So she'll have 1 week for free. So she's ready to activate. After 1 week, she will be automatically activated.
So that's Margaret. She only signed up.
Melanie, that's her.
Yeah.
Oh, Margaret is ready to activate. So she signed up yesterday, but she hasn't activated yet. Okay. Caroline is active now because she signed up 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
But as she hasn't found anyone, her 0.022 Bitcoin are now, Pulse are now 0.005. Ah, that's a good question, yeah. Oh, and Minion, why Minion is active? Did you click on activate? Minion, did you activate your account?
Yes, I did.
Oh, damn it. Because now that you activated, like you bypass your free week.
I didn't know I wasn't supposed to.
Yeah. Yeah. That's okay. That's okay. Yeah, you just miss your 1 week for free. So now you have to.
I've got to work harder to help you put 3 people in.
Yes, you got to bring people below me, Margie.
Yeah, no, she's going to find people, but you also have to introduce people to her and to this meeting.
Well, I was wondering, Roman, if you want to come down to Wollongong and do a presentation about Bitcoin and about the project.
Yeah, sorry, someone called me and I was struggling to hear. What do you say, sorry?
I was wondering if you wanted to come down south, come down to Wollongong and do a presentation about it, and I will, get people.
Oh, like we can do this Zoom session. It works exactly the same way. But
Okay,
yeah, if you can find 20 or 50 people, I'm happy to do a presentation for this amount of people. Sure.
Okay, sure.
Okay.
So does Minion want to do a presentation down in Wollongong?
She asked me if I wanted to do it. And I said, yeah, if she finds 20 people, I'm happy to bring and do the whole presentation, spending like maybe 3 hours going through Bitcoin and Pulse and everything, like, because it's an educational process.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other question about this? Melanie, you wanted to say something?
So the process that I went through was transferring that initial investment to you.
Yeah.
They're going to stay the same way, like that, so that each of these people I bring in need to transfer money to your bank.
So this is the easiest way to use my own account. Like the normal way would be that you would create your crypto wallet first, transfer money onto your, like transferring Bitcoin onto your wallet, and then pay from your wallet. Okay, because like you basically use my bank account to pay for you, where you should actually get your Bitcoin first and pay with your own Bitcoin to this this system.
So you're basically making it easier.
I just make it easier. Like I just bypass one step, which is that you need to get your crypto wallet, because then therefore, when you generate income, then you need to withdraw this money onto your crypto wallet. Okay, so this is gonna have to happen anyway. It's just to make it easier in the beginning. Yeah. All right, guys. Any other question about this topic? Caroline, Mignon, Richard left, but do you have any other question, guys? All good?
I'm good. Yeah, I'm good. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much for being here tonight. And so how many people are you going to bring next month?
I don't know. See, the problem for me is getting people, to such a remote location. I guess I want to be able to talk to people myself. I don't want to wait until I want to be good enough to and understand this enough to talk to people myself, because, this is a time frame situation. We've got a time frame we've got to work to. And this is why, the educating people not to actually sign up for Pulse until they've got their 3 people sort of ready, so that they don't waste that, first week, first, week and a half, 2 weeks,
Correct. That's the right strategy. Yeah.
Well, that's right. But the thing is that, really, we ideally have to know how to explain this to people so that we can be doing it ourselves to make it work faster.
Another great way is to just share the meeting where you were in and educate people, because I made this meeting for this purpose. It's a 45 minutes presentation where you go through Bitcoin. You can watch it again and again and again and again. If you don't understand it, you don't have to ask stupid question. Like, everything is on there. How many times did you show this presentation in the last 2 weeks?
None. Because I was getting my head around a whole lot of stuff, to be honest. My head and my heart around a whole lot of stuff. But I'm getting there now, so I don't want to be crucified for that.
Oh, no one is crucifying you, but it's just that, like sending an email is actually quite a quick and easy way to do it. But yeah, everyone goes through their own time. If you want to control and understand the whole thing and do it yourself, of course. But as you said, there's a timeline. So.
Oh yeah, no, actually, no. I mean, I agree that sending the video is a good thing, or somehow being able to watch it together with people. But what was I going to say? I lost what I was going to say. Yeah.
All good.
Yeah. Sorry.
When is the next meeting?
I don't know. Like our agenda is a bit complicated as well. Like we're moving place, but I'm happy to. So we already have like this community meeting next month in a month's time, but I'm happy to do like whatever Pulse presentation during one of the next weekend. So in 2 weeks' time, if you want, I can do another Pulse presentation. Like ideally, I would prefer people to watch the video, so I don't start from ground zero. Because like it takes a long time for people to integrate information, and it's completely non-efficient for me to get everything back from the beginning, because it will still take for them a good 2 to 3 weeks to starting to put their head around what is Bitcoin and how Bitcoin is going to change the world. So like if you want to save time and if you want to be efficient, basically share this video.
And is that the one that says, what's it called? The Pulse presentation one, is it just called the Pulse presentation?
Yes, the Pulse presentation, yep.
Mignon, you've got it. I sent it to you. It's on Facebook.
Yeah.
Yes, Carolina.
So is there a video version that you, so you just send that link. So, but what happens if someone is not on Facebook?
You can email
It's on YouTube already.
Oh, yes.
You just click on the link and you watch on the YouTube video.
Okay, so my question was, when you approach people, you're better off to ring them and talk to them about it and say that you've got a video you can send them to watch. What's What's the recommendation? Or just email the video? Well, yeah, I don't know.
It all depends of your level of connection with those people. If you're very familiar with them and if they trust you and you say, look, there's this amazing opportunity, I better be honest with you, it's not going to be easy to understand because it's a new monetary system that is put in place that is providing abundance for the whole world. It's not a big investment. It's actually for a good cause. We are funding a community project to allow people to live off the grid and blah, 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 and providing abundance to everyone. Would you like to watch this video? Could you please watch this video for me? And I'm happy to answer some questions if you have it. And then you can start to just talk. And if they ask you a question and you don't understand them, you can take notes and I can organize and you can say, look, you know what? All those questions are a bit too technical for me. What about you jumping online for our next meeting? So you can directly ask them to Roman. And that's it.
Okay.
Did I answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, Mignon, all good?
Yep, thanks, Roman.
So you're going to organize a 20 people meeting in Wollongong?
Yeah, it's going from 50 to 20 people. We're doing good.
So is that the YouTube pulse? Yes. You can go to.
Yeah.
What you should be sharing. I'm just saying.
You were in this conference.
You were there.
Oh.
This is where you were there. Like Caroline were there. You were there. Huh? What?
No, he's still there.
Yes, this is Caroline. Lindsay, say hello.
Oh, hello. Hi, Lindy. Sorry, I couldn't be there.
All right, thank you guys. Thanks for being here tonight. Lots of love, and yeah, please get in touch with me if you need my help. I'm happy to support as much as I can. And yeah, like if you could just make my life easier just by sharing this video that is going to introduce everyone to the concept, then I'm happy to answer any technical question or re-explain it in a different way if they don't understand.
Thanks, Roman.